Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is Clown. Now, thanks to my friend Mike OCP Communications, I believe he had an extra copy of this, so he sent this to me. And I'm glad he did. I watched it and I liked it. This was pretty much a satisfying experience. I would easily say one of the better clown films, and yes, I would say I enjoyed this more than the new Stephen King's It. I prefer the 1990 Stephen King's It or Trail of Clowns from Outer Space above all of them, but I would say those are at least two of my favorite clown horror movies. Trail of Clowns from Outer Space, Stephen King's It from 1990. But this was a pretty good one. Now, I know Eli Roth's name is on there. Granted, I'm one of the few guys that actually liked his Death Wish movie. I'm surprised myself. But he only produced this. He didn't write or direct it. From what I understand, the story was the people behind this, they did a fake trailer. And in the fake trailer, they said producer or whatever, Eli Roth. And they used his name. They made a fake trailer with this concept. And Eli Roth one day gets a phone call going, "Oh, you have a new film coming out. I look forward to it." He's like, "What are you talking about?" And he went on YouTube or whatever and saw this fake trailer. And he's like, "Huh, this idea sounds interesting. Hey, why don't you guys make this film? I'll produce it. You guys write and direct it." And the director is Jon Watts. This is the guy who would go on to direct Spider-Man Homecoming. I knew this name sounded familiar, but I'm like, what? He did a film called Cop Car, which I didn't care for, with Kevin Bacon. Spider-Man Homecoming, which I liked overall. I have issues with it. I really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I really like Michael Keaton. So overall, I liked the film okay, but it's not. I don't think it made my top 10 of 2017 or anything, but I didn't mind the film. But again, I do have issues with it. But this was a interesting idea. It's a body horror movie, and there's not much features on here. There's just a little making of. I would think if there was a documentary, a commentary on this, I think the film The Fly, the remake with David Cronenberg, Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis would get brought up a lot. It seems like they took a page from that. Now, of course, it's nowhere near as good as The Fly remake. That's a classic. My favorite David Cronenberg film. As a friend of mine said, Jeff Goldblum was robbed of some award recognition. Great movie. So no, it's not going to be near that. But that's a great film to take some notes from. Now, when I say body horror, you have this guy who is in real estate. He has a wife and a kid. His son is having a birthday party, but no one arrives. There's supposed to be a clown. Has to be a backup plan. He's on the job. He's trying to find what to do, and finds a clown costume. He puts it on for his kid's birthday party. Things go well, but then he tries to take it off, and it won't come off. Nothing will come off. If he tries to cut it, it'll slip, and at one point he accidentally cuts his wrist. He tries to have some electric saw thing, and it breaks in half. Tries to have this thing on his nose pulled off, and it takes a piece of his skin. No matter what, it will not come off. This wig that he has doesn't become a wig anymore. It becomes his hair. Be like, did you dye your hair? And like, why do you have your clown costume? What's that? Why do you have a clown costume? And no matter what he does, he always gets this white face. The cover's kind of deceiving because he does have something on his nose. At that point when it gets pulled off, then he has to have this bandage. And you still have the red nose, it's just blood. I like that little touch. And then he figures out what's going on with his body, what could he do next. The cast, The guy who plays the clown is Andy Powers. I thought he did a fairly capable job. I felt sorry for the guy. I will say one flaw I have, and this is weird coming from me, because usually I like a fast-paced film. The beginning was a bit too fast. What I mean, it could have used a good 10 minutes of getting to know this family, the father, bonding with his son, talking with his wife before this thing happens where he puts on the costume. Because he puts on the costume for his son's birthday happens literally within 5 minutes. So I think they rushed that quite a bit. Again, a good 10 or so minutes of building up this family, I think would have been to the benefit of the film. But a good chunk of the flick is sort of a psychological drama of him trying to get this off, it won't come off, and then this thing, sort of this hunger overcoming him more and more. The recognizable person I see in the cast is Peter Stormare. He was the devil in Constantine. He was in 8mm. If you see him, you're always like, oh, I recognize him. And he's not the villain in this. He's a guy who's dealt with this costume before. And I won't say too much until I get into spoilers. I wouldn't say it has a downbeat ending. I was fine with the ending. Let me put it that way. This kind of what you call the Fly remake a downbeat ending in a way, but at the same time you're fine with it. Sort of same thing here. The cast all did a great job. The makeup, this makeup's pretty good, and you see how throughout the film it goes from this sort of pancake makeup to this, and then when it gets in its final form, like this demonic looking clown, I'm sorry, that could wipe the fucking floor with the new Pennywise. Like, when the final form, that was a creepy looking motherfucker. Creepy looking motherfucker. So I love the look, and that's from Tony Gardner and his crew. I'm like, Tony Gardner worked on this? It says Alterian Ink and Form and Dynamics, but I saw Tony Gardner's name in the credits. I'm like, whoa, shit. That's really cool. A funny little thing, when I popped this in, I was surprised to see the Dimension Films logo, because I didn't think Dimension Films was around, and it's weird. This says 2014, and apparently it showed like in Italy in 2014, and like production was in 2012. But I guess this didn't get released in the US till like 2016. But again, the places say 2014 because there's one place in Italy. So yeah, for 2 years, just trying to find a place in the US, and then it gets a 5.7. I don't think it's that bad of a movie. Some of the pacing, like again, the pacing at the beginning is a bit too fast, and then there's some little slow spots in the middle that maybe could have cut down on the middle part and then lengthen the beginning part. I think that would have benefited the story a bit more. But yeah, I thought Laura Allen, Andy Powers, Peter Stormare, the kid who played the couple's son, they all did a fine job. Then you have some people with makeup effects. I like the idea. It's a different take on a body horror flick. I appreciate that. Can't go wrong with taking some notes from the Fly remake. What do I say without getting more into spoilers? I'll get into spoilers right now, starting now. I like that, again, it builds up where, people keep talking about this clown makeup. He's like, it's not clown makeup. He goes to the doctor. They can't do anything about it. And one thing, maybe make more of a connection between him and his son throughout the flick. I think that would have benefited from the story and have some kind of bond between the two, and then see that bond get stretched out. But it's more between the husband and wife than the father and son. So they went in that direction. But you could have, I think, also done a bit more between the father and son as well. One interesting aspect, there are kids that get killed in the movie, because from the story aspect, Peter Stormare in the past had worn this thing, and his brother helped him out, and he found out later that his brother helped him out because this demon wants, I think, 5 kids to feed on, and once it does, they'll let the person go and move on. And again, kids do get killed. One was I wouldn't call it interesting is the wrong word, but like, oh shit, they went that direction. Okay, I give credit to that. Is this the father at this point has told the wife to chain him up in the basement, and he even tells her, "I don't care what I say, don't let me out," which is cool. It makes me, the lead guy is trying. I mean, there's a point where he's in the woods and this kid offers some food and he bites the kid's fingers off, and that's when he realizes he's losing, even more losing it. He lost stuff in a hotel. He tries to shoot himself, boom, right in the head. But then the costume makes him alive still. So I like that the guy is trying to do what he can. And then there's a point where the Peter Stormare told him the way to do it is to your head from your body, and he doesn't know what to do. And it was a little bit it's meant to be a little bit funny too. It's like, well, how do you cut your own head off? So he sets up these saws, and he's going to tip his chair back. Because again, how do you literally cut your head off? What is the easy way to do it? I wouldn't know. So he's trying to tip himself back, and he can't quite get it, and he does. But then this nosy kid, at this point he's at this motel, he's locked himself, this nosy kid who kept butting him, "Clown, Mr. Clown." He walks in, whoever that kid's parents is are sacks of fucking shit. They can't pay attention to their kid. The kid's running around a stranger's place. He goes into a place that isn't his room, and then he tips and the saws clink together, one saw, boom, and it reveals it kills a kid. And the guy's horrified, but then the demon's taking over, and then he consumes the kid. It's a cutaway, so it's graphic, but it's not too graphic to be like, okay, ease up a little bit. So I thought they had the right balance with the violence in it. It is against children, but at the same time, I thought this was more visceral stuff than anything in the new It. Especially, there's another sequence, and I'll get back to what I was saying before, but there's another sequence where it's like a Chuck E. Cheese place, something like that, and you get the idea he's killed one kid because you see bits of blood throughout the place. One kid goes in a ball pit, he's like, oh, someone peed in here. But when he lifts his leg up, he doesn't realize there's a spot of blood on his sock. So like little touches like that I enjoyed. Well, okay, it tells us the story visually. And then this jungle gym, which is a really creepy looking jungle gym. That's the thing when you go in the little tunnels, the tubes, and one kid's looking for his friend. And I like the build-up of this scene. Like the kid's going through, and this little girl goes, "Don't go up there." As she leaves, and the kid goes up there looking for his friend, and then sees his friend, and his friend gets dragged out. He's like, oh. And then I like this in this one scene, like the characters were trying to help each other. Like the kid's like, "Get out of here, get out of here." And so the clown lets his friend go, but unfortunately goes after the other kid, and kills him. I did nothing too over graphic, but just enough to still, I thought, deliver some creeps to the creep factor of the flick. And what I was saying before, uh, the mom, although I don't know why she wasn't, you figure with this stuff going, she would make sure her boy was somewhere else, but somehow her boy gets into the basement where the dad's chained up, and the dad's asks him questions. Hey, what's going on? How's it going? And the kid's like, oh, these people are picking on me. They were going to do all this horrible stuff to me. He's like, well, who was it? This is he's not full form demon, but he's getting close there. And he finds out the bully's name. Said, hey, why don't you help me get out of here? And he goes to the bully's place, and the kid's like playing video games and talking shit, and bitch, and this and that. And it makes me think of, when other people play video games and are online, you have these little kids that talk smack, these little kids that think they're tough shit, and this clown doesn't give a fuck, just come up, munches him while the kid has his headset on. I don't know why. I'm like, okay, you went there? I give credit to your movie. Another little nitpick. There's a scene with Peter Stormare. Yeah, I'm not really sure what his fate was in the movie, because this is after the Jungle Gym stuff, and this guy has escaped. His wife, who's looking for him, has escaped. Peter Stormare's there, and the cops come in, and he has his axe that he was going to use on the clown. And I don't really, maybe I missed it, but did the cop shoot him? Did he get arrested? Is he dead? Is he alive? Never see him again. So I would have been nice to get a more clearer picture as to what happened to Peter Stormare's character. That would have been nice. You get this a little bit of dilemma for this lady, where the demon's like, one more child, because by this point he's killed 4 and he needs 5. One more child, your husband, I'll let him go. And she's like, well, what do I do? Do I actually go grab a kid to give my husband back? And granted, logically speaking, like, okay, why should you believe this demon? So on and so forth, and come on, how could you even think of that? But I do think the actress did a good job with that dilemma. I thought she did a good job showing emotion on her face. At the last minute, she changes her mind and says, no, come in here, it's more safe. She doesn't go all the way through with it. She does change her mind, and then the kid is safe. But I mean, I do see some people being turned off by that little teeny part of the subplot, but I don't know. I think the actress did a fairly good job with that dilemma on her, showing the emotion on her face. Again, the ending, takes the guy's head off with a sledgehammer. It's not all the way off, so she has to pull the rest off. And then this bit of trivia listed how when you watch the scene where after the head's been taken off, the shots and the way it's done is kind of like one of the last shots of Evil Dead, when the thing is melting into the floor. While it's the makeup and skin melting off of the face, and it reveals the regular guy's face. I'm like, yeah, that does seem like a touch from Evil Dead. Again, it would have been interesting if there was a commentary on this. I would have given it a listen to. There's one gore scene where the girl's father gets killed by getting his jaw ripped off. It's hampered by CGI enhancements of blood spilling out. You didn't need that, because on the little making-of, they show the effect of it being ripped off. It was a practical effect. And that's the thing, when you do a lot of these movies, just don't do CG enhancements. They screw it up. You don't need CG enhancements, man. So again, it's not up to The Fly. It never would be, in my opinion. So the beginning is a little bit too quick. The middle, maybe it'd be take some little bits out of the middle and put it into the beginning to strengthen a father-son bond, or let know a little bit about the family before the events happen. Little nitpicks like what happened to Peter Stormare's character. Is he dead? Did he get shot? Did he get arrested? The jaw getting ripped off. Don't need a little bit of CG enhancements. But I will say it was an interesting story to see unravel. Because I like the concept. I thought the actors did their jobs fairly well. The look of the clown I really enjoy, especially its final form. It has a bit of balls at times, dealing with kids. I think there are stuff in this done better here than in Stephen King's the remake of It. That's my personal opinion. And I thought the ending was satisfying because the mom and the son are safe, and they take the body in, but then they put the costume or a little bit of it it's in an evidence box. So it's not a sequel bait ending, I would say. It's just maybe they'll just So I guess if I wouldn't call it a sequel bait ending, I would call that maybe one day. So I'm like, that's something I'm fine with. That's what I mean. It's not downbeat because like the woman and kid do survive and they had to do this thing, but he had to die, which didn't bother me. Overall, I thought it was a cool concept that was very competently handled. Cast did their jobs well. Some really nice makeup effects on the clown. And overall, a film really no one talked about, got not much recognition. It's not even one of those things that has like positive reviews on the DVD. It gets a 5.7. I'm like, I don't think it's that bad of a movie. I think that's my consensus. I don't think it's that bad of a film. I thought it was a pretty damn decent flick and easily one of the better clown movies I've seen. And I like that the first good chunk is sort of this psychological drama thing, but then the finale you do get your visceral horror element too. So despite some of my little nitpicks, this is a pretty damn decent time. Not that bad at all. So thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you later. Bye bye.